I would like to welcome Krista Cimino to this evening. Krista and I met just over 2 years ago. I built her website,
Mhm.
and she explained that she had just really sort of like been recently qualified and she wanted to get out there and be a hypnotherapist because hypnotherapy had helped her so much. And then she explained that she worked 5 days a week behind the chair as a hair stylist. And then told me that she spends another day a week collecting and organising all of her, I guess, supplies,
Mm.
because she's a one-woman business, and then she tries to fit in a social life, and everything else. And I'm thinking, oh my God, when's she going to run this hypnotherapy business? Um, but she had a plan, and I built a website for her, and then she started putting those plans in place. And when we first met, Krista had no idea what Canva was. She was, to say the least, nervous about getting on camera or recording her own
Mhm.
voice. And so the evolution that I have seen in the last couple of years is night and day. It really is night and day. And it is such a joy. And I was just explaining to Krista that another lady we had on this call a few weeks ago, Sarah Sloan, who was talking about the luxury retreats that she was doing, that she too really come into this very fresh with ideas, and then off she went and she started to build her business incredibly. So good evening, Ewan.
Good evening.
Yours
Apologies for
is
my tardiness.
It's okay. We're just getting started. I was just introducing Krista. So yeah, so Krista, if you would like to take the stage as it was, and tell us what you've been up to, and what I'll do is I'll actually spotlight you so that people can see you, and yeah.
Hello, everyone. And Kev, thank you so much for all those wonderful words. My name is Krista Cimino, and as you heard, I was a hairstylist and still currently a hairstylist for over 21 years. I owned a salon for 10 of those years. And then after COVID, everything changed. And I'm sure you all have some experience in that. Um, the restrictions they had put on us, just the way people came back different. People were stretching their hair longer. They weren't spending the money any longer that they were. And I started to really look at what I was doing. Was I truly happy in what I was doing? And I was not. I lost my passion for it. And like I said, people were just different. Everything felt off. And I felt like I wasn't living in my purpose. I wasn't using my gifts in any way anymore. And I still love doing hair, and that's something I will probably continue to do alongside this business as well. But I was looking for a way to help people and to feel like I was serving my purpose in some way. And I started doing some homework while I was home for those 3 months because we were closed down for a good solid 3 months. And I started looking into hypnotherapy and past life regressions and, all the famous hypnotherapists out there. And the ones that I was most drawn to were Dolores Cannon and Brian Weiss. I started reading his books. Joe Dispenza, I absolutely love. I watched his series Rewired, and that was it. That was my light bulb moment. I was like, I have to do this. And how do I go about doing this? So I started looking into what it would require. I know some states are a little more strict here in the US. Mine is not, thank goodness. But I fell in love with hypnotherapy and hypnosis work. And I immediately felt drawn and driven and felt like I was in my purpose finally. And I was doing something that I could give back or I could help people. And so Kev was right. When I first started, I had no clue where to begin. I felt super lost. I felt I had imposter syndrome. We've done sessions for that. I doubted, you know, my skill, I guess, in the beginning. Where do I go? Which direction do I move? How do I create a successful business? And so that's when I bumped into the Therapy Business Club, and I did some one-on-one sessions with Kev, which were life-changing. Um, there are days, obviously, in any business, any career that we're in, where we feel like, oh, maybe the phone calls aren't coming in and I'm not good enough, or maybe that client didn't get the results. And it's so easy to get discouraged and fall off of what our goals are, because we feel like maybe we're not helping or we're not good at what we do. But having the Therapy Business Club to back you up and having the support system with you and Kev, it was life-changing. I mean, I have never had such a good support system behind me, maybe pointing the things out that we don't see in ourselves, or even just when I have creative ideas, not making me feel like they're silly or outlandish, because I was finding it really difficult once I started building a business. How do I keep up with both? Because the hairstyling is what paid my bills and I was successful at. And the hypnosis work is really where my heart is. And I would like to eventually sort of merge into that completely. But right now, unfortunately, I still have bills to pay. So I do both. And it is getting to the point where I need to step back from the hair, because the hypnosis work is just coming in like I can't even keep up. But a large part of that success I owe to Kev, Ewan, and the Therapy Business Club, because they have helped me take my visions and my ideas and create something beautiful and turn it into something that I brought to life. And my feeling was, I was working one-on-one with clients. I had done a bunch of group sessions, one for weight loss. I mean, I had 13 people sign up for my first weight loss program online that I had ever done, and it was super successful. But the amount of work that went into promoting and keeping up with and showing up every week. And, I was doing this in my downtime. I was doing this in the few hours a week that I had, that I was not behind the chair, because I work quite a few hours still to this day behind the chair. And I started thinking about, well, how do I reach more people? How do I help more people in the amount of time that I have? And I just had this like light bulb moment where, well, what if I could create a program that they can do at home on their time and not show up on my time, but also give me a little leeway and a little freedom to step back and do it in my downtime. And so Kev and I sat down and we came up with a plan, and we put it into, we put it into motion, and it has taken off. Like I can't even keep up with the amount of at-home custom programs that I'm doing. And they are completely successful. Almost every client that I've worked with has had amazing results. And I think because I'm taking so much time sitting down with them, having their consultations, I'm putting all their personal, I'm using their name, I'm using, their life story, all their intimate details is going into these programs in this session. And they're able to do it on their downtime. They can do it first thing in the morning when they wake up. They can do it just before bed at night. And they can do it multiple times a week, whereas they may not have the access to do that if we're working one-on-one once a week with them. And it's grown into something so much bigger than I even thought it would. And, going back to the Canva and the technology part of it, I didn't know how to use Canva. Kev, you can attest to this, that when we were sitting there, sometimes I'm like, I'm so confused. I don't know how to do this. But practice, like we were just saying, practice made everything better. I can do it with my eyes closed now. So we can all learn the technology part of it. It does seem a little overwhelming, but it comes in time. And once you grasp it, it's the easiest thing I've ever done. And, now I can bang out a whole entire 6-week program in one day. That's edited and everything. And you're talking 35, 40-minute sessions, all edited. I add the content. I put the images on everything. I add the music to everything. They are the most beautiful sessions ever that I've ever done. And they just keep getting better and better and better with time. But the clients are responding so beautifully. And I get messages daily. I just got one and I sent it to Kev this morning because she was over the moon about how beautiful her session was, how connected she felt to it. She was over the moon about how she felt after her session. I want to put it out there that I was just like everybody else, where I was a little apprehensive about learning technology and putting myself on camera, listening to my own voice. I did not want to listen to my own voice. I couldn't stand it initially. Now I love my own voice. It just takes time. It takes time to get used to what you're doing. It's something new. It's intimidating, but it can be done. And, that sort of morphed into other things. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can help people one-on-one and create it in my own time, what else can I do for clients that they have access to when maybe I'm not available? And I think that was the biggest part of it. How do I make myself more available to people when I can't be there? Right? Like I can't show up every hour of every minute of every day. And sometimes our clients are struggling, at 4 a.m. and we're not there, and they can't pick up a phone and they can't reach out to us. Because I'm in such a very close business where I'm behind the chair with people, they share everything with me. So I'm a very empathetic, and I am very close with most of my clients that I do hair, because they've been with me over 20 years, some of them. And you develop these relationships. And I've had people call me on a Sunday before I even did hypnosis and say, I'm in the middle of a panic attack and I just needed to hear your voice. I just wanted to talk to you. And so I feel like we have such a beautiful gift where we get to connect with these people. And I try to put as much of that into my programs and my sessions as possible. And I want it to feel like I'm there with them in some way and they have comfort and safety. And I built these programs around the idea that they have a safe space to come to that's only theirs, somewhere that they can go back to anytime they need. And the more they return to this place, the more repetition, the safer their body feels in that space. And that has been game changing. They feel like it's for them and only them, and their bodies respond that much better. And I also have programs that I have done on my website where they're more generalized. Obviously, you can't tailor to just one person, but they still work just as well. And it's the same idea where now they have access to weight loss programs, anxiety programs, sleep programs, smoking programs. And I can make money now while I'm sleeping. And it's been a game changer for my career because we don't always have the phone calls coming in, or someone might be up at 3 a.m, shopping online, and they stumble across our website. They may hit that button because they're in that moment at that right time, and they may purchase your program because it's out there and it's on your website as an option. I find that it's allowed me to do both careers, make great money, help so many people, and be much happier in what I'm doing and not stretch myself so thin any longer. And I think that was my biggest thing. I was feeling burnt out with trying to keep up with both. And this has been the way to do both successfully. And I feel like with technology and the way things have moved, it is the new way. It is sort of, people want convenience. They want to do something on their time. They don't want to show up on your time. They want to show up, well, I have this hour and this hour and this hour, but you don't. So I'm going to go somewhere else. And then now they don't have to because they have it at their fingertips. And I find because I'm doing these customized programs, people are, because it's counterproductive in some way, right? You think, well, if they have the program and they have it in their hands forever, well, then they don't need to come back to you. That's not true. And I'm finding that people are coming back multiple times for different reasons because they felt so comfortable with me. And now they know they have a friend almost. Like I've had, Kev, well, we're going to get into a program with one of my clients, and she's the sweetest woman. She's 79. And she texts me every once in a while, thank you for being such a wonderful friend. Like people really feel connected to you when they're in their home and they're listening to your voice, and they feel like they know you, they feel like they're part of you and they're part of your family or your friend, or so it is quite a beautiful thing. So yeah.
Would you like to share that the page that you created?
Yes, absolutely. Let's take a peek. So I wanted to show you a little bit of what we create. Now I have to give kudos to Kev because I'm not tech savvy. So I give him my vision, I give him all the materials, and he just brings it to life. So this is Arlene. This is one of the programs I just did recently. And so this is an actual web page off of my website that he creates. And what I'll do is I'll write a personalized letter to my client. At this point, we've already obviously had a very thorough consultation. I want to explain how the program works. So that's all there for them to see. What to do, what not to do before a session. I don't know, Kev, if you scroll a little bit, it'll tell you hypnotherapy, expectations, things to expect, what not to expect. I want to make it as clear as possible so that they don't have to question anything. And then we make it visually beautiful for them as well. So as we scroll down here, now you see their sessions. So it's a 6-week program. So each week will tell you what their focus is here. So you'll see what it's all about. And then their actual session is off to the side here, and they just press play. And this is all done in Canva. I mean, the artwork, everything that I've overlaid on these videos, everything I've done, visually, or, my voice is done through Canva. I do all my recordings through there, and it's pretty simple to use once you learn it. It looks a little intimidating at first, but once you get it, it's super easy. And then this is everything that they need, their full 6 weeks, and they have it forever. And we all know, sometimes people go through life and something can trigger them and their traumas can come back up, and they may need access to this again, and it will work for them every time. And I think that's such a beautiful thing for them to have. Just the confidence or the security that, if God forbid something comes up in their lives, they can go back to this because they had progress once, it'll happen again for them. So, and I do always throw in a few little bonus sessions, usually pertaining to whatever it is that we were working on, shorter sessions that they can do in between, just in case if they're having a bad day, or if they don't have enough time to do a 20-30 minute audio, they have a shorter version to do, so that they're always getting the progress without taking a week off, because that's my biggest thing. I would like them to continue with the program as we laid out for them. But also, I do check in with my clients at least once, twice a week, just to see how they're doing, make sure they have no questions, just to check in on their wins, see if they've made any small changes as the weeks progress. And it's beautiful. It's become such a beautiful way to do hypnosis work. And I don't know if I can go back now. I feel so much more connected to my clients this way. And it doesn't even make sense because we're not in person, but I do a lot of conversation in between. So I'm not disconnected from my clients in any way. If anything, I feel closer to all of them. And then at the end here, I always put a personalized note. I congratulate them. Even throughout the process, I check in and I tell them how well they're doing, and I'm so proud of them, because people don't always get to hear that. Family and friends may not tell you that, or they may not want to tell their friends and family that they're doing hypnosis work for anything. They may be a little insecure about that. And like I said, with Arlene here that we're talking about, she has texted me many times just being like, thank you so much for being such a wonderful friend. And, it's because we've developed this relationship over the last few weeks, and she's still currently doing her program. I think she's on week 5 now. And she has not touched alcohol since the first session. So, it's pretty incredible. And she's been almost her entire life has been drinking, and her family had stepped in and it was getting pretty severe. And so to know that this woman has made this huge life change, and she's had parties and friends over, and she hasn't touched anything, and she hasn't even wanted it. And knowing that she feels like she has a friend to back her up and tell her they're proud of her, and because I guess her family can be a little tough on her. So you know what? I love that I'm that person for her. And I think it's such a beautiful thing that we're allowed to do. We get a peek into people's lives. And I think that's really special.
Wonderful. That is great. And
Yeah.
it's so great to hear that, that you get that feedback from her as well. And
all the time.
Big impact as well, very, very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supporting her. Does any questions coming up from anybody from what Krista has shared so far? Please just unmute yourself and ask away, because there's a lot of information
I know
to take on board there.
There was.
So you've unmuted yourself.
Yeah, hi Krista. I think this is amazing. I've actually written a program myself, and I was planning on doing a very similar thing actually, which is why I was really excited that you were doing this presentation.
Beautiful.
Where do you actually host your, I was looking on is it on your website? You've obviously got the single persons. So do you actually have to have an extra page for each person on your website, or how do you host them?
So Kev actually can probably answer this better than I can. That's what he does. I give him my audios. I give him everything I want written throughout, because it's, a lot of the other stuff is kind of standard and it just stays within that web page, and then we just copy and paste everything in. But initially the work that you put in is a little heavier at first, because it's going to be the standard for all of your programs moving forward. But yes, it is a web page off of the website. That's private to them and they only have access to. And also what I love about the personalized programs is as you're using their name and their personal intimate details throughout, no one can they can't share that with anybody either, you know? So you're not getting people sharing the links to your audios, and they're getting free audios, which is also something that protects you in your business as well. But good for you. That's amazing that you're doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. Can I
Yeah.
ask, you have the videos, or you have the bit of text for each session. Are
Yes.
those videos like instructional? Like, is it like a chat about each section, or is that literally just the hypnotherapy that
That is the hypnosis audio. Yes. That is
Okay,
just
you
the
don't give
audio.
them any learnings or any
Well, I do that when on the beginning of the page, you'll see it'll give them instructions and what to expect, what we're going to be working on throughout the entire program. And then I break it down week by week. So then week 1, here's what our focus is. Here's what we're working on. And I give them an explanation that they'll understand, obviously not too clinical. And then the audio would be laid right beside that. So they know exactly where they are, what they're working on, and what to expect.
Okay, so you don't record the instructions. It's all literally the only recording you have on there is your hypno.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And sometimes I do personalize quite a bit. Sometimes I'm working on one right now, actually. And I voice recorded a letter to her. So it's just basically going on and kind of speaking to her directly. And so I do those small little details as well, but it just depends on what I'm working on. And but they never have to question what they have to do. Everything is laid out there. And then I do check in, like I said, do you have any questions? How's it going? How are you feeling? I'm always here if you need something. So I give them that access, and I haven't had anyone take advantage of my time or, like that at all. So, and there have been a few times where people were a little confused and they would get back to me and say, well, I don't think I'm doing it right. How do I do? And even myself, I've tweaked as I've gone along in the process and said, okay, well, now I need to add this because I don't want them questioning anything. I want it to feel comfortable and easy for them. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Would it be helpful, Sue, if I just kind of showed you one of those sort of videos playing as well on the page? So you can
that'd be
see.
Brilliant. If that's okay with you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll share the sound and then share the page, and there we go. So, and as Krista was saying, that the instructions are very much here up at the top, in these little drop downs as well. So instructions here in nice, simple, easy to understand language. And then when they come to this first session, this actual video is on Vimeo, which is just a hosting site for videos. And you can get a free Vimeo account.
Yes.
And which gives you a certain amount of volume of videos you can put on there. And then all I've done is embedded that video in here. Now, we call it a video, but actually all it is audio that Krista has recorded with an image in the background. So if I just click on here, you will hear the...
Hello, Arlene. I just want to take a moment to say how proud I am of you for being here. This is a really big step, and it matters more than you probably even realize right now.
So as you can see, there was no movement in the background. That is just a thumbnail in the background. The reason for that is that Krista wanted something that was visually, engaging. We could have just put that as being a little button to press and it would just have played. But because Krista does them in Canva doesn't allow you to output MP3s. It only allows you to output MP4s, which are videos, technically. So she just chooses an image and then puts that in there. And there's something else that you didn't mention, Kristen, that was that you do sometimes repurpose some of your recordings and then just put the little personalization at the very beginning. So like some of the sort of mini sessions that you've done for people. I know I think it was the fat burning session. You've got a recording that is like a 5 or 6 minute recording. And then all Krista does is she'll go into Canva and put the person's name in the first sort of like 10 seconds and just drop that into something that's already created. Efficiency wise, from getting, and this will help you speaking to your kind of web developers or whoever's helping you do these things, from an efficiency point of view, getting the links from Krista for the videos and the text and getting it all onto a page complete and ready to send back to hair to get to a client, I would say it has never took me longer than about 45 minutes to do all of that for one page. Because it's literally just, copy paste, and the job's done. So it doesn't have to be a massive task that you're doing. If you're doing your own website, you can put it in yourself. But Vimeo is a great way of doing it because no adverts are going to pop up or anything like that, like they might on YouTube, and it's very stable, and it just makes for a really clean, piece of work that people will get. So hopefully that helps just explain it a little bit more. Are there any questions from anybody while we've still got this up on the share? Anybody got any questions about?
I've got one.
Yeah.
How do you get to your client? Because obviously once you've got your client, then you have this program on your website. But how do you get your client in the first place? How do you track
I put my hypnosis business out there every day. I do show up every day on social media. But I have to say AI has been a game changer for that, because I can literally pull up 10, Facebook posts or Instagram posts, or I do on my Google page as well. And Kev, you're the one who drilled that into my every day. You're like, you have to show up daily and sometimes 3 times a day. But I can honestly say I show up almost once a day within my business somewhere. I want to make sure that I'm being seen. And like, I forget who just said that, but your word of mouth eventually starts taking off. So now a lot of what's coming in is word of mouth. I'm lucky where I am. I'm in the smallest state in the US, and there's only about maybe 10 hypnotherapists here. So I'm kind of at an advantage because I do put myself out there, and my algorithm now has, I'm one of the first ones that'll pop up on the internet, which is great. But I do put the work in, I do put the time in, I put the ads out there. I've just branched out for someone who didn't like to be looked at on camera or her voice to be out there. I'm now doing video promos where it's just my voice. And Canva is great for this because when you work in Canva, I don't know if any of you do work with Canva, there's a little mini audio or video clips that you can overlay over your voice. And so as I'm speaking, let's just say whatever it is I'm speaking about, I can find a video clip that matches my words, and they come out so beautiful. And I can't tell you how many people reach out and they're like, you're so professional. This is so beautiful. It really makes our businesses look that much better to the public. And so since I've been doing those things, it really has skyrocketed. I can't even keep up. I actually have to back off another day of hair because the hypnosis work is flying in. And even I'm amazed at what's coming in that I can't keep up with. But a lot of, like I said, is word of mouth now. Yeah. But initially it was just putting myself out there faithfully daily and making it a priority. And I mean, maybe 20, 30 minutes of my time in the morning. I mean, I'm lucky I go in a little later, so I have a couple hours in the morning. I can do that kind of stuff, but I make it a priority every day.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions coming up for anyone?
Well, I'm curious, what state are you in?
I'm in Rhode Island. Everyone gets it confused.
Oh, I was trying to think.
New York.
I thought maybe you were in Connecticut, because Connecticut's
Close.
pretty small too. So
yes, Connecticut is small, and Connecticut is my neighbor. We're right near each other. It's about an hour apart.
Yeah. I do have a question for you because you're in the US as well. Does anybody ever, how do you introduce yourself? Like, what do you do? And you say,
well, because I'm a hairstylist as well, I'll say both, but I just say I'm a hypnotherapist, and it raises a few eyebrows. Here, I'm not sure where you guys are, but here it's still a little like, I don't know what that is. What does that mean? So I make it, I've found a really delicate way in describing it so that people understand it and they're also not afraid of it in any way. I also do Reiki. And so I've learned how to explain what I do and how I do it without people feeling fearful of what it is. Because there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding both. I think people think, what we do sometimes is a little more out there than they realize. But I've had good luck with that. I mean, I am lucky enough. I probably see 100 to 150 clients in my chair a week. Yeah. So I'm super busy behind the chair, but I've been doing it a very long time and owning a salon as well. but it's, it's hard on my body, and I have to back off. I mean, my neck, my back, my feet, everything is, and I don't want to be, in my 70s, not able to walk because, I couldn't give up the career. And that really is one of the focuses for me. It was like, how do I merge my business, because I make people feel beautiful all day, and I love being able to help people and give them back something that maybe they're missing at the time. And going into hypnosis work was, I can't even tell you, it's like Christmas morning when I get those messages from clients. I mean, I cry, I literally cry, because your success is my success. And I truly am in it because I want to help you, and I want to see you live the life that you should be living. And I don't know, I don't want anyone to feel bad or be hurt or sad, or so this has given me something that you can't replace. It's incredible. So
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm actually in California, and I lived in Indiana, and then when I moved to California, they're like, "Ooh, anything goes in California." Well, that's true, but there's not a lot of open-minded people with hypnosis, which is kind of interesting. So I've
yeah.
kind of tagged myself. I heard somebody say this years ago, who's no longer doing hypnosis. He's a mental locksmith. So I said, "Ooh, that's kind of catchy." So
Oh.
I'm kind of introducing myself as I'm the mental locksmith, and I've got a few things going with that. It is very interesting because they look at you like it's witchcraft, and I'm like,
They do.
what?
They
And then
do.
so that I can talk about people that I have helped. I'm with you 100% on that. It's funny. I actually helped a gal quit smoking, but she refused. Her mom actually hired me for her, and she's 50. But she's so funny
Wow.
because her mom came to me, actually sent me a very nice note and just said, "You've changed our family." But her daughter refuses to admit that hypnosis worked for her to quit smoking, but she no longer smokes.
Oh,
And it's pretty funny. So I just kind of laughed and I said, that's okay. If that's what she wants to do, it's okay. And she's been a non-smoker 9 months now.
that's
So
amazing.
that's why I wanted to ask you, and being a US person, what is your take? Because it seems like it's more socially acceptable in the UK and other places like
Yes.
that, is what I see
I
on the
do
internet.
agree with
So
that on a small level. I do agree with that. And like I said, with the Reiki as well, people have no idea what it is and what it's about. They don't understand it, and then they're fearful of it. But I do also feel, 10 years ago, people were closed-minded to it. They didn't even know what it was. I mean, we have hypnotherapists here, obviously, and a lot of stage hypnosis work and stuff. But there's always believers and non-believers. But I feel like in the last 10 years, it's really come a long way, where at least you can openly talk about it. Not everybody looks at you sideways. And no, I feel like the people are a lot more open than they used to be here.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Krista, can I just ask another question?
Absolutely.
When you do your social medias and you do your Facebook and all those sort of like posts, are you actually in the post talking? Are you visually there?
Sometimes, but no, not all the time. Because sometimes I don't have the time to get on camera,
Yeah.
and it's easier to not put myself on camera. But a lot of the times, though, my voice is there.
Okay. No,
And
I'm just a bit self-conscious because I'm putting forward a weight loss thing and I'm not exactly a size 10 myself. Do you know what I mean? And I find it a little bit sort of like, how can I promote something when I'm not the embodiment of what I'm trying to put forward? Do you know what I mean? So but if you're managing to do it without actually having yourself on
absolutely,
video, then
yes.
and as I said, it helps me really because yeah.
Yeah. So in Canva, if you just record a little script of whatever it is you want to say, and then overlay that with like those little mini, I wish I had one to show you right now. But if you can overlay just those little videos pertaining to whatever it is that you're working on, that goes so far. I mean, that's when my algorithm skyrocketed. It was just like, it's visual for them, but also they get to hear and experience your voice on some level. And a lot of people that know me personally, that have been in my chair for many years, I do have a little bit of a different voice when I'm doing my hypnosis work. I call it my telephone operator voice, but it's a little more refined. You don't hear my accent as much, and almost like I'm singing a song. There are times where I'm literally doing this while I'm creating a session for somebody. So yeah, people are a little surprised by what they hear coming. They're like, "That's your voice? I didn't know that. It's so soothing." So yeah, I think find your comfort zone, because it's still putting yourself out there without having to feel uncomfortable. And, you know, you may find at some point you get really comfortable putting yourself out there on camera. I couldn't have done this 2 years ago at all. I would have been petrified. I wouldn't have wanted to do it, you know? So it just, the more you do it, the more feedback you get, the better you feel and the better you get at it. So keep up the good work. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Question.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got a question. It's been very insightful, Krista. What sort of pricing point are you pitching these programs at?
So I started low at first. I think I started at $299 a program. Because at the time it was taking me a lot longer to produce these programs. But now I can charge up to $1,200 a program, and for a 6-week program, that's pretty good. So you're talking anywhere from an extra $2,500 to $3,500 a month in revenue. And that's me on my spare time. If I decided to take this over, if it does eventually get to that point where I have to do more hypnosis, it will be much more profitable for me. But that's kind of where I have to cap it right now because I can only do so much. But it is taking over. I'm almost overwhelmed, and I've had to take one more day off of the salon to be able to produce more audios and more programs for people. So, yeah.
Okay. I suppose you've done it a few times now. It's streamlined. You're really into the flow of it. So I suppose the personalization probably takes a bit more time, but I presume you can take a lot of what you've done, like a kind of a template perhaps, and then just add the personalization on. So it's a very efficient route to charge
Absolutely.
$200. So that's great. Because I think a lot of the therapists often are always concerned about price points, too cheap, or can I really charge that? But we've always said here, it's not per hour. It's about what someone gets out of it, of course.
That's right.
$1,200 to me for a 6-week program for a fantastic result sounds reasonable. It's just finding those people who will invest it. But that's just marketing, isn't it? They're out there. They're out there for 3,000. They're out there for 10,000. It's just the messaging, really.
Absolutely.
So I just want to encourage people on the call who think, oh my God, who's going to pay that? People do, because
they do.
We've got to get out of the employee mentality. It's
Yes.
the result we're offering is what people want. And if they feel they can't get it from anyone else, that you're the one that's to deliver it, and the rapport's there's just nothing to resist.
That's so true. And you just hit that right on the head there, where, you know, people will see you promoting and see your consistency and see your ads over and over and over, and they almost feel attached to you as time goes on. And then once you have that phone call with them, they feel like they've developed a friendship with you, and you can't buy that. You can't replace that. And I found in the beginning, I was doubting my own self in the way that I priced my programs. And I remember Kev kept saying, no, you're underpricing yourself. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm scared. I don't want to not have business coming in. And I'll tell you right now, every time I've raised my price point, nobody has flinched. And I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? You know, they feel like they're getting value from you that they can't get from someone else. It's your voice. It's your, you know, your compassion and your empathy and your work that they're coming for. They're not coming for just any person. They want to feel trust, and they want to feel safe, and they want to feel heard and seen. And, you know, that's what we do. That's our job. That's the hardest part that we have, is just making that connection and making them feel like they're being taken care of. So yeah, that was a great point.
Good call. You're consistent. Obviously, Krista, you're consistent doing it. I think sometimes therapists are very hit and miss. They'll have a phase where they'll perhaps post once a day for 3 days, and then perhaps back off for a week and then go intensely at it. I mean, I can be guilty of that, but it is about showing up. People, you do get on people's radar at some point. I think that's very important to state that. And we find here in the Therapy Business Club, there are people who have come into contact with us perhaps a year ago. They're on the receiving end of marketing, whether that's a message on social media or an email or something, and then they're back in our orbit at some point in the future, making a payment decision, joining membership or something more. That's something that I think with you as well. You've got quite a large orbit from hairdressing and so forth, but it doesn't always yield straight off the bat, does it? So the fact that you're still consistent with marketing at some point, that bears fruit, not just for the one-off sessions, but for the bigger programs that you're doing. It seems that you've been faithful in marketing and being visible, and you hit pay dirt at some point, clearly.
Yes. True. And eventually it just sort of takes care of itself. It becomes part of your everyday. And, you know, I'm still getting, you know, certain outlets that my work is on. I check every day and it's growing every day. And sometimes I'm not always showing up every day there. So it does take time. But if you did it for a solid year and showed up every day for a year, that's life changing. And people remember you, and they want to see you out there. They want to see that you're, because unfortunately, and we all know this, if they don't see you, they think you're not successful. And that's not always the case. But if they see you, they assume that you're doing well. They assume that you're someone they can trust, and they feel comfort in that. And so I found that people migrate, you know, and I always ask, how did you find me? And a lot of people are finding me through social media or through my ads or just showing up every day. And like I said, now word of mouth has taken off because they're getting these incredible results from these programs that even I'm amazed. It's just faster, quicker results because they're not intimidated by coming in an office anymore. And they don't feel unsafe because they're in their own home. And that says a lot too, you know, putting them in an environment where they feel comfortable and safe, and they're not worried, oh gosh, when I go under, am I going to say something? Or, you know, is someone going to do something to me while I'm under hypnosis? You never know. So it's putting them into their own environment, giving them that comfort level that you can't get sometimes when you're in an office with someone you just met.
Yeah, yeah. This whole virtual thing is so powerful.
It is.
Because I think the mentality is that, you know, I've got to be face to face with clients or even online, but there is a way to add another leg of income, which can be 24/7. You might well wake up tomorrow morning, Krista, and money's been deposited in the bank account for a program. That's what I think is so good, is that recurring income,
Absolutely.
passive. Even though you've done the work, I mean, when I say passive, it doesn't mean we don't have to do the work, but once it's set up and there's a flow going, it's going to sell itself beyond having physically being with people.
Very true.
I think it's such a good idea. And from what you say, I know you've done the work. It gets easier. Sometimes there's a bit of resistance, but it seems like, you know, at the front end there was a bit of tech. How do I do that? Do this? And obviously, Saint Kevin of Hull has been wonderfully helping. But just doing it, you get familiar with it, and you think, hey, that's not such a big deal, and you just keep doing it. But something we emphasize to therapists is there's many ways to make money through therapy. It's not just the traditional face-to-face stuff. It's something like you've done. This virtual package is just brilliant because it adds a leg of income to the store. And there are other ways, of course, but you know, that's been wonderful to hear that. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, some mornings I wake up and, you know, you've had 2 purchases on your website and you didn't even have to be there. You were sleeping while that happened. So, you know, it's just another way. It's how do I access more people? How can I help more people? And that's the way to do it. And, you know, we're all so busy. We all have lives, you know, your mothers, your friends, your wives, you know, we have all these responsibilities, and it can be overwhelming trying to run multiple businesses and still keep your connections to the people in your world that matter to you. And it was kind of one of those things, like you said, once the work is done, it's out there and you can sell that for a lifetime, and it's always going to be good. And it's always going to be a product that works for somebody. You don't have to put the work in once it's there, and you can sell it 100 times. So it does save you time. It does give you back some of your personal time. And you know, I'm getting older, and the more I think about it, it's like I need time for me. I got to try and put the balance back in my life, because if I'm not healthy, I'm not going to help anybody else. So that was also another driving force behind the thinking of, well, how can I do this and make this successful and make this work for everyone involved? And it's been a game changer. It's absolutely the best decision I made. And meeting you guys was the best thing that could have happened to my career, because truly, you know, there were so many days in the beginning where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm scared. I don't want to put myself out there. What if I sound stupid? What if I look stupid? And Kev and you guys have been the driving force, being like, you got this. You're amazing at what you do. Continue moving forward. You're putting so much hard work in. And I needed that. I needed the push. I needed someone to be in my corner, and I couldn't ask for better. So I appreciate you both. And I know I say this all the time, so much for everything that you've done for me in my career, because I wouldn't be allowed to do what I do without it. And I may not have pushed as hard. I might not have been as focused and driven. So you guys have given me that, and I appreciate you so much for it. So thank you.
Can I just ask another question? Sorry.
Yeah.
You've been saying about your social media posts and being there every day. How important do you think are testimonials and reviews and stuff? Because in the beginning,
huge.
I'm not going to be having that many, obviously, because I'm just starting out. But how did you get? Is that literally just every time you did work with someone, you just made sure
Yes.
that they did reviews for you?
So, believe it or not, I did some free work in the beginning. I did put posts on Facebook, social media, and saying I'm looking for, a couple of people who would be willing to let me do a session with them in exchange for a review. I've done that for other hypnotherapists. I follow a lot of hypnotherapy groups online. And there was just a gentleman about a year ago I did a session with. And this is actually a nice story, so I'll go into this a bit. He had done that same exact thing because he needed some new reviews for his business. Because you know how it goes. You kind of chase people sometimes for reviews. They say they're going to write them. They don't write them. And I want to be as authentic as possible. I don't want fake reviews on my website. So I have done that myself. But this person reached out. He wanted 10 people. I was one of them. It was one of the most beautiful sessions I've ever had. And just recently, and this was such a moment for me, because he reached out to me and he said, I have been watching you for the last year since we had our session. He said, and I am so impressed with the work that you're doing. He's like, I feel like you're making all the connections in the industry. He's like, and that's what I didn't do. And I'm feeling like I'm lost. He's like, I would love to sit down with you and pick your brain and see, how you started and how you got into doing customized programs. And so we're going to have a meeting and sit down. But I thought, what a moment, right? He's been doing it 15 years and I'm 3 years in the industry, and he sought me out and wanted to know what I was doing. So I was like, well, that's a beautiful moment right there. But yeah, so I would say maybe start doing something where you, even if it's friends and family,
I've done free stuff for other people, in other areas, and I've got reviews on my website, but not necessarily about the course I'm going to be selling. But I suppose that doesn't matter, does it? It's still about me and my work, I suppose.
Yeah, so so that's also something I've done. So when I created my no smoking program that I do now have on my website, I had asked a client of mine, she's actually a client of the salon, because she'd been wanting to quit and she had success prior with someone else. And I said, would you be willing to try the program for me? And I gave it to her for free because, to be honest, it really didn't cost me anything to create. It was my time. And so she did the program. She woke up after the first session and she never touched a cigarette again. And so, she wrote this incredible review for me. And I think it might have been you who just said someone wrote you a beautiful letter about how you saved their lives. Was that you or the other Sue? But she wrote me this beautiful card and was just like, "Here, not all heroes wear capes. You saved my life." So, I mean, she wrote me the most incredible review. And so, yeah, sometimes just putting yourself out there and keeping up on the reviews.
Yeah, the other thing, the course I've put together, before listening to you guys, I had planned it to be on Thinkific. I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Thinkific or something? It's like a platform. And I had planned out, I've got 5 hypnotherapy sessions, and I'd planned out to do videos, like teaching videos, sort of like a course almost. And I don't know whether I'm overthinking it, and maybe just doing something more simple like you're doing might actually be better, because just having the hypno and some background around what the hypno is meant to be achieving might actually be better, rather than doing loads and loads of PowerPoint presentations almost, to try and help people. I don't know whether I do have a habit of overthinking things.
Well, I mean, you could take that and translate it into Canva the same way almost, where you're not doing so much more work. But I think that could completely work in Canva. It's not a bad idea. Have you ever used Canva? No. So, I mean, you're part of the Therapy Business Club and stuff, but it's not as difficult. It's not as difficult as it seems. But I think the first time I went on there, I was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. This is too much. I can't. And my brain was spinning and spinning. But once you really sit down with it and learn it, it's not hard at all. It really, truly. The only thing I will say, and it's because I've lost complete sessions. Oh my gosh, it can be really frustrating. Make sure you have a very new laptop, not an older one that can't run fast, because Canva, when you store too much on your laptops or your computers, you need storage space for one, but you also need something that's running up to speed, because if not, you will lose sessions, or you'll be editing and you'll think you hear something where the audio might connect, and it's not accurate because it's not running properly. So I would say beware of that, because I've done many of those mistakes, and I've learned that you have to have a very good laptop to work off of through Canva.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Once you've got your client, do you then do your like a discovery call, initial consultation to get all that information and then produce
Yes.
that program for them?
Yes.
Post it on
So
the website?
when a client reaches out to me, I will give them a little homework and tell them to really sit down and get pretty deep in what they feel is contributing to whatever it is that's going on. But we get really deep. I want to know, dig into your childhood, dig into your teen years, your life. And then from there, we have probably a half hour, 45-minute call. And then I usually give them a time frame of 2 weeks. I can produce it in under that, but I want to give myself the space in case I can't show up every single day. And I usually give them that. And nobody really, I have a list. I have people waiting on a list, and they will wait. And so, because I feared that, I remember being like, I can't put them on a waiting list. They'll go somewhere else, and they will wait. They will wait for you. So that's how I can manage everything the best way. But yes, I absolutely have that consultation, and I put everything possible into their program. So yeah, it works seamlessly. It comes out so beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question for you. What social media platforms do you use, and which ones are most successful for you, would you say?
So the most successful for me has been Facebook. I run ads sometimes, but a lot of what I do is just on my personal pages. But I have a salon page, I have a hypnosis page, and I have my personal page. So I have access to quite a few people within that. My salon page has 3,500 people on it, or so I kind of use all of my streams on social media. And then Instagram is phenomenal, but Instagram, you do better with videos and reels. So if you're not looking to do that kind of work right away, I would say stick to Facebook. But you can still promote your business without running ads and spending a ton of money. I've never had to spend.
Have you ever used LinkedIn at all?
I do not use LinkedIn, unfortunately. No. As a hairstylist,
Okay.
it didn't really serve me, so I never got comfortable with it. I've used TikTok. I use TikTok sometimes. That's been
TikTok.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. I just started putting my stuff on YouTube. So now I'm branching off into all the little areas possible, but it took me a minute. I had to build up to get to that point, but I have my audios now on Insight Timer, which is actually a great idea. That's another stream of revenue coming in. It takes a while to build, but you're already doing the audios, and all it is just putting everything into Insight Timer. So that's actually another great thing to look into down the line when you're comfortable with it. And it builds over time. I mean, it'll probably take you a good year or so to build that up, but that also pays you. So something to think about as well.
Would you be comfortable sharing your website with us and your social media so we can follow you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you.
You can look me up on social media under Inner Beauty Hypnosis. And I'm also on there as Krista Cimino, Cimino. Yeah, and actually you guys will get to see some of my little promo reels and stuff. You'll get to actually visually see it and hear it. So I love doing that. I like looking at how everybody does things. I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, what do they do? Let me see. I get lots of ideas that way. I'm always like, my brain, ask Kev, I always have ideas. I'm like, what do you think of this? What is this? What if, and he'll refine it for me. He'll either tell me, I don't think that'll work. Or he'll say, I think that's great, but what if we tweak it like this? And it's been such a huge help having them as my team backing me up, because I never have felt like my ideas were too much or, not accessible. And if it did seem like too much, they would refine it back a little bit for me and be like, well, that seems a little much right now. Let's try it this way. So yeah, it's been wonderful.
We'll share the links in the post when we pop the recording. So we'll put some links in the sort of comments and along with that as well. So you can go and have
I've actually been using chat too. When you say other people's, I kind of will send this to chat and go, what do you think about this for my business? Because chat knows my business pretty well now, because I've been using it for a while. I'm like, oh,
isn't it amazing?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty fun, actually.
It's a little scary at the same time. So I was just saying this to him recently. I have started a new project, which I won't say too much about yet because it hasn't really come to fruition, but I'm working on something that I think is going to be incredibly beautiful. And it's strictly women's hypnosis, but I started running some of the ideas and the promos and the ads through ChatGPT. and it speaks to you like it knows you. It's, it gets a little scary at times. It's like, well, I've watched you grow from day one and you're doing such amazing things with inner beauty hypnosis. And I'm like, and it goes into like your personality and your tone. And I was like, okay, this is getting a little scary. You're almost like my friend now. So too funny, but it is a huge help in your business. So utilize.
Well, it is funny when you say that, because where I live at, a lot of the kids are going through depression, loneliness, and so forth. And they said, unfortunately, they're having a hard time because of COVID, going out and making friends. They're relying on chat to be their friend. And I thought, oh my goodness. And like you said, though, well, Sue, we've been together for a few now. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we need to cut this off a little bit now, So
we're
it's
getting a little
it's
too
very
close
interesting.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Okay.
true. But then it gives you some confidence too. It's like, oh, keep up the good work. I'm like, thank you. I will.
Right, exactly. Well, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. No problem. Anyone else? No.
So if someone was thinking of an idea as far as putting together some recordings, a virtual package, what advice would you give if you had to give a little bit of advice to someone who is thinking of doing like the virtual packages? What advice would you give them that you wish you had had when you first started this?
I would say, because I have all these ideas at once, and so my brain just doesn't know where to shut off sometimes. So I would say take one focus at a time. Just work on one program at a time. Don't get too overwhelmed with the idea of, oh my gosh, well, I got to do this and I got to do that. Just take one idea and just make that happen. And if you spend maybe 10 hours, creating this program, and you've edited everything and you're ready, make sure, you have a great team, with Kev and Ewan. And, but yeah, don't try to do too much at once, because that's kind of what I was doing. I was getting a little overwhelmed. I'm like, but wait, I'm not finished. I got to do this and I want to do this. And then I had clients coming in, and it was like, how do I juggle everything? And so I had to figure out a way to make it work for my life, for my time. So yeah, just don't burn yourself out. Don't take on too much at once. Know your limits, and just make sure you take the time for you too. You have to take those hours for yourself, even if it's just an hour a day. But yeah, just stay consistent, show up every day, and it will take off. It will take off. I mean, I'm watching people spend money that, they won't spend on other things, but they'll invest it in themselves because they truly want the help. So yeah, just keep going. Don't give up on the days where you don't feel great. Cause if I didn't have Kev and you, and I probably would have been like, oh, this is a lot. This is too much. But I just kept going. And even on the days where I didn't want to, that's the most important part.
Wonderful. Well, it's been inspiring.
Can I ask one more question? I'm
course
sorry,
you can.
but
Of course you can.
how are you taking payments? What are you using for your payment processor?
Usually I go through PayPal. I don't use Venmo here, because Venmo here, I don't know about you. Well, you're in California, but in the UK and stuff, but here they tax us now on everything. So I try to do PayPal only, because Venmo, like I said, it gets complicated with taxes and all that.
People get, how about Stripe? Have you ever used Stripe?
I have never used Stripe, but I've heard good things. So yeah, that's another option as well. Yeah. PayPal, I felt like was super safe for both parties involved. So that's the outlet I choose. But I've also had people show up and just drop off a check, or, or something like that. Or cash, I should say, because I don't take checks from larger services anymore. But so yeah,
that's what I do. Cash too. Yeah. That's perfect. So
it works out great.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Well, so much information to take in. The recording is going to be available on the membership, and I think I said at the beginning, we will use this as a promotion for the Therapy Business Club, for the virtual package mastery program, because I think what you've covered there, to be honest, Krista, it's been a masterclass.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a masterclass, and I'm sure that people are going to watch this, and they're going to be inspired, and they're going to take action, and they're going to change lives, because that's ultimately change their lives by having
Yes.
great businesses, and change their clients' lives as well.
That's right.
So yeah.
It was so lovely meeting all of you. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all so much luck in your businesses. You're all wonderful. Keep doing the good work you do every day.